What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the 10-7 MMA with DS and Dino Bam Bam.
What's going on, Dino?
What's up, my brother?
Hey, you know the vibes.
It's good to see you.
Thank you, brother. It's nice to see you too. I don't like this handshake.
Yeah, give me like a good.
That's a sturdy, real sturdy.
Yeah, good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
How you doing? How you feeling?
I feel all right, man.
Like just in general, like how's life?
It's okay. It's pretty good. Can't complain.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
How about you?
How much time you got?
Hey, all day, brother.
It's pretty sad. Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Sure. Yeah. But on that note, we are here today to review UFC 71 Las Vegas. A pretty decent fight night card, I would say.
Yes.
We've got some big boys bashing it out at the top of the card.
Big boys banging.
I'm saying.
BBB.
Just to touch on last week real quick, I felt like we did pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah. I told you that my girl, there was a women's fight on that. What was the Lucy Pudilova versus
I don't recall, but let's find out.
What was her name? Goddamn robbery, dude.
Oh, against my girl.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah.
I really hated that.
Jocelyn Edwards.
Yeah, and every single parlay I had that I had busted because of that.
Yeah.
And that was one of the worst. Man, that was really bad.
That was a bad robbery.
Yeah.
You know, obviously.
And good for you.
Right. I guess I picked right.
Yeah.
But that's the thing with a lot of these like women's MMA fights. You let it go to decision.
No, but
and then it was bad. It was bad.
Not like that.
It was terrible.
You know. Yeah. On that note, do you have any other things that you would like to cover or tell our good friends from the YouTubes?
Now that you mention it,
yeah, please.
Yes, I do have something.
Yeah.
Guys, Dino Bam Bam, DS, aka MMA Youngboy.
You heard?
We would love if you guys could like and subscribe. Ring that little bell down there.
I just want to say we are a little more sloshed than usual.
Just a tad bit
on this particular podcast.
Yes.
So, but I'm sorry. You were saying Dino Bam Bam DS and so on.
MMA Youngboy. If you guys could like and subscribe, please ring that little bell down there. We have a ton of content. We're coming up with some new series for you guys here in the near future. Hey, follow us on Instagram.
Well, on that note, we've already started, and he does such a good job with it. Dino Bam Bam.
Yes.
Right here on my right. Maybe your left, if it's reversed.
I don't know.
But he does such a good job with our short form videos, right? The casual MMA guides. You do. You really do.
Thank you.
You do such a good job. And yeah, if you're like just getting into the sport, great series to get into. And we've decided recently that I will be doing a post show.
Yes.
For each and every card. So look out for that. And we'll be dropping more tidbits and shorter videos about just general MMA news throughout the week.
Yep.
But in any case, please do like and subscribe and follow us on Instagram at the 10-7 MMA. Why not?
Right.
Does Yuri still follow us, or has he unfollowed?
Of course,
have we offended
follows
him?
Us.
Okay, good.
He still follows us.
Yeah, good. All right.
So Yuri Prohashka does it. You should too. It's a little throwback to some of the OGs of this channel from about 60 days ago.
Yeah. Well, you know. And in any case, let's jump right into this card.
Absolutely.
And we've got 12 fights now. Unfortunately, Song Yadong versus Ricky Simon was dropped. That's going to be on next week's card. It's a goddamn awful card.
That's actually very unfortunate because this card could have used that as a co-main event.
Sure.
And
if with that, it would have been like it's still a pretty good card, fight night card, I would say. But with that, it would have been like a really good
I agree.
Card, yeah.
And unfortunately for next week, Song Yadong and Ricky Simon, good fighters, very exciting in the bantamweight division.
Especially for your MMA like diehards.
Exactly.
But certainly not for your casuals.
Exactly.
It's a terrible card for your casuals.
Yes,
unfortunately.
I agree. But we'll enjoy it.
Absolutely, and we'll definitely still break it down. But on that note, let's jump right into this card. And the first fight of the night is Batgerel Danaa versus Brady Hiestand. I'll throw this one to you first, my friend. What do you think?
Absolutely. All right, so Danaa Batgerel, he's on a 2-fight losing streak currently. Good striker, very fast, very quick, always coming forward, very aggressive, good power for the
Do you
division.
Typically come backward?
I've never once come backward. Okay. Thinking about it, I don't think I have. But yes, his takedown defense is a little bit sus, and he's going to need to have that. He's going to need to have it be good against Brady Hiestand, who's obviously a wrestler. Seems like Danaa Batgerel doesn't really hold up very well if he doesn't get people out of there in the first round. 10 of his 12 wins are by finish. 7 of those finishes are in the first round. Cardio may be an issue. We've mentioned that a couple times.
For
Danaa Batgerel.
Sure.
We've mentioned that a few times recently when we haven't seen these guys leave the first round in a while. Brady Hiestand, on the other hand, Brady Bam Bam Hiestand, by the way. So got to shout him out for that.
He's my maybe third favorite Bam Bam.
Thank you. Yeah. Am I above him?
Oh,
that was just assuming.
You're number 1, and I would say that Tai Tuivasa is number 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not the Flintstones guy?
No.
Okay. He's a nice kid. Anyways, great cardio for Brady Hiestand.
Hold on. Have I asked this before? Would you rather have an older black woman call you sugar?
Okay.
Or like an older Italian American man call you a good kid?
I would take sugar. It just feels warmer.
Interesting.
Yeah, it feels warm.
Interesting.
A good kid is nice. Like, that's nice. I appreciate the compliment.
Yeah.
But sugar's just so like, thank you.
Yeah, it is.
You know?
It is.
It makes me blush.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I think I would go with good kid. Like, you're a good kid.
That's fair.
Because I'd be like, maybe I have like a life in the mafia at some point.
Are you a mob movie guy?
I had a binge. Of mob movies. Why? What's your favorite mob movie?
Not really a movie, but The Sopranos. Show.
The Sopranos, the best, dude.
Yeah.
I've watched it 3 times.
Yeah.
Through it.
Heat, Casino, like, I'm down.
Heat was great. Casino was great.
Obviously.
Godfather was great. You know, I'm also of the belief that Godfather 3 was like underrated. People don't give it enough respect.
Yeah, I haven't seen it since I was a child.
Yeah, I feel you. I did have a binge, so I did.
Okay.
But, yeah.
But Sopranos.
Oh, Sopranos, amazing.
Stop.
Amazing. If you don't like the Sopranos, fucking unfollow us, dude.
Shout out Sopranos.
Oh, you kidding
R.I.P. James Gandolfini.
Man, that was my next thought is R.I.P. James Gems. R.I.P. James Gandolfini.
But yeah. Anyways, Brady Hiestand.
Yeah.
Great cardio. He's an Ultimate Fighter guy from the Volk Ortega season. He's a wrestler, good pressure with the wrestling, likes to rack up control time. Kind of relies a little bit too much on his wrestling.
Yeah.
But that's probably because his striking skills are not very refined.
Not great. Yeah, not great.
Yeah. I mean, he is very young. I believe he's 23 years old, so we haven't seen him in a while. You always want to see those improvements from the young fighters.
And you expect them.
Yeah, and you definitely do expect them. Let's see what happens. Last time out versus Fernie Garcia, he ended up winning the fight, but he was dropped early, and he was able to survive that fight and kind of ride out a decision. This is a pure striker versus grappler fight. I hope to see big improvements out of Brady Hiestand, but he is very hittable, and that kind of worries me against Danaa. I'd like to be wrong, but based on what I've seen, I got to imagine Danaa Batgerel will eventually find Brady Hiestand with the high volume, and I'm going to go Danaa Batgerel, TKO, late first, maybe early second.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I do think he's going to knock him out. I think one of the last things that you said, Garcia knocked him down.
Yeah.
So the fact that Garcia was able to knock him down, Danaa Batgerel has, in my opinion, way more power.
Agreed.
So, yeah, I mean, first of all, props to Brady Hiestand for being one of the youngest fighters on the roster at 23 years old.
Yeah.
He's got good, powerful wrestling. You know, the Ricky Turcios fight was nuts. Mm-hmm. That was a great fight. I really, really enjoyed.
That was the finale, correct?
Yeah, it was. But I really enjoyed watching that fight. You know, it was really close, but Turcios was just a little too unpredictable for him.
Yeah.
Hiestand, I think he's a little too hittable at times, and I think against somebody like Danaa Batgerel, it's not a good recipe for success. It's a bad matchup for him. So I know that Danaa has lost his last 2, but I think he has legit power for the division. I wish he was a little tighter with some of the things that he threw. He's a little bit looping.
Yeah.
You know, and his overhand right and his looping hooks are probably his best weapon. You know, and at times like he doesn't check a lot of kicks and things like that. But I don't think that's going to be a problem with.
Yeah, he doesn't necessarily need to worry about that with Brady Hiestand.
I was just going to say I don't think that's going to be a problem with Brady Hiestand. Exactly what you just said. So another fun fact: he has a win versus Kaikar of France.
Okay.
And he also has really good cardio. So the fact that he's more experienced, the stronger puncher, the better striker. I just think it's not a great matchup for Brady Hiestand. I agree with you. I think Danaa Batgerel is going to knock him out.
See, Danaa Batgerel, I don't think he's been to a decision since 2019. So, yes, the cardio looked fine then. But again, I'm starting to get really skeptical on a lot of this stuff. We saw the women's prospects these last few weeks.
I think that's just a lot of especially women's prospects are different. You know.
Yep, I agree with you.
But
can I also throw in these last 2 seasons of The Ultimate Fighter? And this is no knock against the guys and girls that we've seen on that show, but like, geez, they do not look very talented at all. And that's the Volk Ortega season and the Pena and Nunes season.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you. And even on Dana White's Dancing with the Stars, they were, I feel like, giving out contracts too easily at first.
Maybe.
And then they kind of tightened it up. But in any case, when you play UFC,
yes,
what's your preferred route to the UFC?
I just do the WFA and then like win the title, like 2 fights, I think, and then
and you
defend
it?
No, I just go straight in most of the time.
Yeah. Okay.
But sometimes you got to get like little missions.
Sure,
you got to defend that belt.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Moving on to the next fight on the card, and it's one of 3 women's fights in this card. It's your girl Priscila Cachoeira versus Karine Silva.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go first on this one.
Sure.
At first, my initial thought was I was gonna go with Priscila Cachoeira because Karine Silva does not have the experience and is just a much younger fighter. Priscila Cachoeira, very aggressive, not super fast, but puts on the pressure, very relentless. She does telegraph her punches a little bit, I would say, maybe more than a little bit. Her best weapon is really her aggression and her pace, right? And in a lot of women's fights, I feel like that is enough to win the fight, I don't think that that's going to be the case this time. I know Karine Silva is super young, but watching her, she looks ready, man. She was in a war with, was it Lauren Jauregui? Was that
Iasmin Jauregui?
Dude, first of all, she looks legit. Jauregui.
Was that her?
Was it not?
No, that was
that's
Iasmin
the next
Lucindo.
That's the next women's fight.
Correct.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I apologize.
Yeah.
In any case, Karine Silva is still the super young fighter, though.
Correct.
Yes, okay, good. Yeah.
29.
Yeah. Well,
Younger.
Yeah.
By a fair bit.
But she did fight a bunch of cans, right? At some point, not too long ago, she fought 4 fighters making their debuts. And to me, that's a little sketchy. It's why are you this experienced as a women's fighter and you're fighting these women who are literally making their debuts? If it goes to the ground, I think she has the advantage. I think she's definitely the more explosive fighter. She's also jacked. She has 11 first-round finishes. She has more ways to win. Cachoeira, I think, is a little too slow. Yeah. I'm going to go Silva by sub.
Fair. And I get the hype behind Karine Silva. Here's my thing, though. And I mentioned this last week, and I mentioned it a couple minutes ago. I'm going to mention it again. I'm very kind of shook off these high-level women's prospects.
High-level.
Right, high-level women's prospects that are coming into the UFC. I know she's 1-0 in the UFC currently, but I'm starting to worry because she hasn't been to a 3rd round in years. I think it was 2017 the last time she was in the 3rd round. Priscila Cachoeira is absolutely a dog. Is she all that technical? Not really. No. She swings wild. She's aggressive. She's like a little pit bull out there. She's only 4-4 in the UFC. Oh! Hey. But she is on a 2-fight winning streak. She beat Ji Young Kim last time. She beat Ji Young Kim. Then last time out, she beat Ariane Lipski.
That's my girl.
Ariane Lipski.
That's a certified my girl.
Hey, let's get it, man.
I think she would beat her right now, though.
Maybe.
Lipski's a different fighter.
Than a few months ago?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I believe it was Priscila Cachoeira who was supposed to fight Sijara Eubanks, right, in January.
Oh, that's a certified your girl.
Absolutely not. And then Sijara Eubanks did the Sijara Eubanks thing.
She missed weight.
She didn't even show up on weight, to make weight, which is wild.
Let's boo Sijara Eubanks.
Absolutely. I'm glad the UFC parted ways with her.
Thank God.
That's fantastic. Anyways, Priscila Cachoeira is 4 out of her last 5. In a women's fight, I'm not going to look too far into it, to be honest with you. I'm going to trust my girl, Priscila Cachoeira. If she can survive the first, she can win. She's always liable to knock these contenders out and scrap her way to a win. Give me Priscila Cachoeira decision, 29-28. I don't know. That's as far as I'm looking into it.
No, I don't like that at all.
It's okay. You don't have to.
I don't like it.
That's the beauty of this.
Yeah, you're right. Moving on to the next fight on the card, it is, as far as I know, and correct me if I'm wrong,
Sure.
Francis Marshall
Absolutely.
versus William boy
Don't do that.
Gomis.
Don't do that.
Francis Marshall, another Dana White's Contender Series guy.
Dancing with the Stars. Francis the Fire Marshal.
Dubbed
by Michael Bisping.
Francis Marshall, his name, Francis Fire Marshall, is amazing.
It's a great nickname.
Because he is actually a full-time firefighter.
Yes.
I love that. Amazing. And also, shout out to him for just doing a crazy job.
Fireman work.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's a tough job.
Aside from probably doing, like, do they all do, like, the calendars or no? Like,
Oh, no. Yeah, I don't think
the
so.
sexy
Maybe.
fireman calendar.
I've never been a fireman.
That is like what I would aspire to if I was a fireman.
You want to be the best looking fireman.
Oh, come on.
Right.
I'm trying to have my thing out.
You think Stipe's doing any posing?
Oh, Steve is old as fuck, dude. He's got a terrible haircut.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, oh, that's what I've been saying. But Francis Fire Marshall, 4 of 5 finishes by rear naked choke.
Okay.
He's been working on his wrestling, and like he's got a good wrestling base, but he's even been working on it more.
Mm-hmm.
He's undefeated, and he's only 24, right?
Yes.
He beat Marcelo Rojo in his debut. I think the ideal game plan for him is to get inside with his boxing, which is actually decently crisp, and then take him down and get the RNC. I feel like that's like the ideal game plan for him.
Okay.
He's got a nice effective jab. He's got good power in his hands. I like this kid a lot, man. I really do.
Yeah.
Like I actually do think he's a decent prospect. He showed good cardio in his fight versus Matthews. He's basically beat the shit out of Matthews for like 3 rounds.
Yeah.
So he showed a decent chin because he got caught a couple times. Yeah, man. For me, I mean, I don't really see many weaknesses in his game. You know, his wrestling stands out. It's really good for the division.
Mm-hmm.
He looked good against Marcelo Rojo, who I think is a decent fighter himself. You know, he finished him by TKO. I actually think this guy's got a lot of promise, and he's got a really cool nickname. William Gomis, watching his tape back, I just didn't see much on tape. I really didn't. There's not a lot that impressed me. You know, the one thing I want to say is good on him for leaving France to fight.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of these French fighters, they don't do that.
Yeah.
They just will refuse to leave France to actually fight.
They'll wait on the next French card.
Exactly.
Or, yeah.
Exactly.
Or England card, perhaps.
Right.
Yeah.
Barely. And like rarely even that, which, you know, he's got some cool jump switch kicks, spinning back kicks, you know, things like that. First of all, a guy with one of the coolest names that I've heard, Jarno Aarons.
Yeah.
Great name.
Interesting.
Yeah. He was caught a couple times. He was wobbled. You know, he's a little too reckless for my taste. You know, he got a couple takedowns, which I thought he was more of a striker. So seeing him get some takedowns, I guess, was kind of cool. I don't know, man. I think to me his chin is a little questionable, and I don't think he's a high-level striker compared to the types of strikes that he throws. I think Marshall's going to be able to use his wrestling to neutralize the big strikes.
Mm-hmm.
I see Marshall winning this by decision.
Okay, cool. So I want to touch on some of the things that have been said.
Sorry if I went too long on that.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
With William Gomis, he is also a high-level prospect, or people consider him to be a high level.
I don't feel like he is.
People consider him to be a high-level prospect, right? I saw him before he entered the UFC in Aries. I saw him at UAE. He's fought in Cage Warriors, so he's fought in some real good promotions.
Yeah.
And he's been winning, to be fair. He even won his debut in the UFC. The thing with William Gomis to me is he's very weird. He's got a Taekwondo background.
Yeah.
And he's a defensive fighter, but he happens to get brawly at times. So it's like really weird. He's flat-footed. He throws some weird shit here and there. But like I think he looks soft and kind of slow.
Gomis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now with Francis Marshall, yes, there's holes in his game, but he's got real power. And that to me is the thing that sticks out here. It's the fantastic power. He relies a bit on his boxing when he is actually a grappler at heart. He's a wrestler.
Right.
I wish he would rely a bit more on the wrestling. Anyways, 2 young fighters here. I don't really like the matchmaking, a 24-year-old and a 25-year-old.
Yeah, you almost want to give them like
time to
some
kind of
space.
grow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I'm going to trust Francis Marshall here. I have it as a 30-27. I think he's going to get the takedowns early and often. I think he's going to ride a bunch of control time, and I think he's going to do some damage with that.
Yeah.
I don't think Gomis has the wrestling to deal with Francis Marshall.
And he looks zesty.
And his Tapology photo is quite zesty.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The Fire Marshal versus the Jaguar. Meow. That's how you feel?
Yeah.
That's how you feel?
Yep. Moving on to the next fight of the night, it's boy, Mohammed Usman.
Okay.
Probably the only Mohammed that I've seen that wears a cross necklace.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is.
So what's up with that? Let's talk about it.
These Usman brothers, man, I don't know. They're interesting.
Versus Junior Tafa.
Yeah.
What do you think about this one?
Sure. So this is the brothers fight, right?
You're right.
We have Mohammed Usman, who's obviously Kamaru Usman's brother. We have Junior Tafa, who's obviously Justin Tafa's brother. Let's start with Junior Tafa. He's making his UFC debut. His last fight was on the Ryzen /Bellator card that was on New Year's Eve, which had like AJ McKee and Pitbull and all those guys on it. I remember just being up at like 5 a.m. watching that. Anyways, he's 4-0 in pro MMA, but he does have a ton of boxing and kickboxing fights. Yep. So he's not green by any stretch of the imagination. No. He is a high-level striker. He's bigger than his brother. He's faster than his brother.
Is he bigger?
Yeah. And
by weight?
Yeah.
He looks skinnier for sure.
Hey, that's what they're saying. They're saying he's bigger. They're saying he's faster. They're saying he's stronger. He does look more technical than his brother does.
Certainly that.
Yeah, absolutely that. We move on to Mohammed Usman, Kamaru Usman's brother. He's an 8-2 professional MMA fighter. Obviously won the Ultimate Fighter his last time out. He's got some huge power, man. Like, he's got power in those hands.
He's big as hell. And I thought he was heavier, and he's like 240.
Yeah, it's weird. And Pauga wasn't that big of a guy. Like, not obviously undersized for heavyweight, but Pauga was kind of getting the best of him. He needed a comeback to win that fight. When it comes to the wrestling, Mohammed Usman's wrestling is okay. It's nothing like Kamaru Usman's wrestling.
Not at all.
When Kamaru Usman went into wrestling, his brother Mohammed Usman was the football player.
Right.
So that's kind of the difference there. But anyways, he's evolving his wrestling. I see this fight being pretty simple, to be honest with you. If Usman can take Tafa down, then he's going to win the fight. We haven't seen too much wrestling out of Tafa.
Right.
If Tafa can stuff the takedowns, then I think he's a lot better than Mohammed Usman on the feet, and he should be able to knock him out. I'm going to trust the fighter who's 8 years younger here. Give me Tafa by KO, round number 2. The line movement on this fight, by the way, pretty damn weird. Tafa started as a sizable dog, and now he's a small favorite.
I wish I got him at that money. I wish I got him at dog money.
Yeah, I'm going to trust the betting public.
Yeah.
And stick with the with Tafa, even though it is a coin flip. It's two heavyweights with huge power.
Yeah.
Anything can happen in this fight. Mm-hmm. I'll leave with that.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with you. Usman is definitely not his brother. In a weird way, he reminds me of a smaller Bob Sapp. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense to you?
Sure.
Like the way he fights reminds you of a Bob. He's not very skilled.
Not very technical, just a big
Not very technical. He's jacked as fuck, and I really didn't realize that he's only 236 pounds according to the weight. Crazy to me for heavyweight because he looks big as hell. Maybe it's because most guys are just fat, you know. Versus Pauga, I think that fight gave me some pause, man. I don't think Zach Pauga is anything special.
Yeah.
You know.
And that goes back to the thing we were saying about the Ultimate Fighter people.
Yeah.
None of these guys or girls from the last 2 seasons of the Ultimate Fighter have looked like anything special. Barring, I have to say, Brian Battle has looked pretty good.
Brian Battle has looked good. Sure.
Tresean Gora's a my boy. He hasn't looked too great. He got a nice sub last time out, but Ricky Tercios doesn't look that good. Brady Hiestand doesn't look that good. You know, Brogan, who we're going to see later on, doesn't look that good. Oh,
certainly not.
Juliana Miller, who won the show, doesn't look that good.
Awful. It looks not just not that good. Like looks like the worst person in the division.
Yeah, tough little stretch for the Ultimate Fighter. Hope this Chandler and Connor season.
Yeah, I've said this for a hot minute between me and you. Like, not obviously we haven't done the show for that long, but I think they've been making huge mistakes with that show, and it's sad because I think it could be one of their biggest draws, and it could be one of the biggest ways for the UFC to get more fans. Yeah, you know, and it's sad, unfortunately. But I pretty much agree with you. You know, Usman's the older fighter. Mm-hmm. He's not particularly skilled anywhere, even in the wrestling. And does he, on paper, maybe have the better wrestling than Junior Tafa? Probably, but Junior Tafa looks like the better athlete by a long shot. So Zach Pauga looked like nothing to me. And the fact that, like, I know he ended up messing him up, but he mostly swings wildly. Mohammed Usman does.
Yeah.
Everything's looping. I know he got him with the check hook, but and I know Justin Tafa only like you said, he only has 4 professional MMA fights, but I think the boxing experience, the kickboxing experience, and he's done pretty well across the board.
Yeah.
I think that will be a big factor. He's obviously the better athlete. You just watch him, he's much slimmer, he's much faster. He's definitely going to have the striking technique advantage. I know that there's not a lot of tape on him out there realistically, but I feel like Mohammed Usman is really nothing special. If your weight of the UFC is at 36, 37 years, how old is he? He's old as shit. Is
34.
30. Oh, I guess he is the younger brother. You were right. But I don't know. He's clearly not as good. But the fact, if your key to the UFC is at 34, 35 years old, you're beating up these younger dudes on the Ultimate Fight. It's just not for me. I'm gonna take Tafa. I think he gets the KO, just being more technical and touching him up. I'll say second or third round.
And just to clarify, Junior Tafa, 3 inches taller than Justin Tafa. That's the bigger, obviously, when it comes to stomach size.
Yeah,
he's not.
No, I pictured their body types.
Yeah.
When you said it,
Much
and I was
taller fighter.
I was like, dude, Justin Tafa's way sturdier.
Yeah.
Let's say. In any case, moving on to the next.
You be getting sturdy sometimes,
bro. I really be trying to.
I feel that.
Yeah. If I'm not sturdy, what am I? I'd be having existential crises. Yeah.
Okay.
Multiple.
So many.
Right. Moving on to the next fight of the card, if you're ready.
Sure.
Yeah. It's Karol Rosa versus Norma Dumont. I guess I will take this one first.
Norma Dumont.
She's absolutely... My God, does she have a wagon.
She got...
Norma Dumont. Yeah. Shout out Norma Dumont. And if you're ever watching this, if you ever need a... let me know. Because, my goodness.
She got some junk in the trunk for sure.
She had issues at featherweight, making weight for featherweight before. Okay.
There was a girl on Bellator the other week who said the same thing. She's like, I can make 105.
I saw that. Oh, she was thick, dude.
Yeah,
she had
smacked
ass.
her butt. She's like, this is the reason.
I would also do that.
Okay.
For her, if she needed it.
Hey, let's get it.
Yeah. I think this is a really straightforward fight. Mm-hmm. Norma Dumont, dummy thick, has had weight issues.
That's just what we lead with. Forget the striking.
Right.
Forget the grappling.
Yep.
She's dumb thick.
Dumb thick, dude. So, if you haven't seen that shit, look it up, brother. Because, woo! God.
Shall we move on? It's Norma Dumont, right?
No, right.
Because of the wagon.
Oh, my goodness. Yes. Rosa, in theory, has a better jiu-jitsu. Mm-hmm. A lot of finishes by sub. Striking fucking sucks. She's tough as hell, I guess. Norma Dumont got the wagon. She got the wagon. What else is there to say?
That's it.
She's missed weight because she's so goddamn thick. And if she's serving that cake, brother, I will have it. I'll have a slice I'll have the cake. I'll tell you that.
The whole cake.
Oh, my goodness. She's got wins versus Alicia Spencer and Aspen Ladd, who I fucking hate. Dumont, okay on the ground. I think this is going to be a standing fight, and I think she's just going to school this girl.
Yeah.
And goddamn is she thick.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
If I didn't highlight that.
Shout out Norma Dumont's wagon.
Oh, my God.
You feel me?
Literally, in them yellow Venom joints.
Right. She's trying to hide it with she'll be rocking those,
the under shorts. Yeah, there ain't no hiding that, brother. There ain't no hiding that.
I'm just saying, if you got it,
we see it. We see it.
Right?
Whether you do it, we see it.
Yeah. Karol Rosa, no wagon. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Especially when you compare the two.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Anyways, though.
I would hitch a trailer to Dumont's. Karol Rosa, bro, is this Oregon Trail? You're dying of, leprosy.
I feel that.
Yeah, something's happening.
But, yes. Let's talk about the fight itself.
Yeah.
It does seem obvious to me that Norma Dumont wins this fight, 29-28.
I gotta look her up right now, dude.
Even though it's obvious.
You think she got an OnlyFans?
I doubt it. I feel like we would know about it, to be fair.
Norma Dumont?
Yeah. But even though it's obvious, I'm not going to bet this fight, Dino. It's going to be a decision more than likely. Mm-hmm. I don't trust the judges anymore, especially in a fight like this. We're going to see a lot of clinching and all that kind of stuff. You never know what they're feeling. That? Yeah, that's crazy. It's bananas. Bananas is the only word for it. I'm taking Norma Dumont 29-28.
What about that one?
It's very inappropriate, you know.
Come on.
No, it's
damn, that thing
scrumptious.
tatted up too.
It's scrumptious.
Moving on to the next fight on the card, it's Rani Yahya versus Montel Jackson. This is how we do it.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately,
that's
for
Montel
us,
Jordan, actually.
Montel, yeah.
But please.
Unfortunately for us, compared to the last fight, no wagons in this fight. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
Montel Jackson, he's on a 3-fight win streak currently. Let's start with the wrestling because that's going to be absolutely crucial in this fight against Rani Yahya.
Oh, you'd like that, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Yep.
Montel Jackson is a very good wrestler. He does have decent jiu-jitsu, but he's known for his power. He is clearly the way better striker in this matchup here.
Oh, my God, yeah.
That's obvious.
No question, yeah.
When it comes to Rani Yahya, he's a very high-level jiu-jitsu guy. We know the deal.
He's old as hell, too.
He's old as hell. He's an old jiu-jitsu guy, but to be fair, he's not one of those like desperate jiu-jitsu guys like your Claudio Pajelas, where he's just kind of like scrambling and rolling.
He's not far off,
just like scooching.
Sure.
We've seen him stand up, is what I'm trying to say.
It's not good, though. It's not great.
Sure.
Yeah.
Agreed. But respect for having it. Because after 40 fights and being 38 years old, like, you're going to pick up some stuff.
One of the better names in the UFC.
Rani Yahya.
Yahya.
I like that. Yahya.
Say, whoa, Yahya.
Ooh, okay.
Back above me.
But yes, he's one of those dudes that's obviously looking to take you down. He's looking to get a choke. He has a bunch of unique chokes on his resume. He had a Bravo choke, a North-South choke, tons of arm triangles, shit like that. Mm-hmm. You're in deep trouble if he's on top of you on the ground. That's basically what this fight boils down to. I'm very, very confident in Montel Jackson here. The takedown defense is pretty good for him, and on the feet, he's completely a different level than Rani Yahya, and he has really good power. I think he finds the KO TKO here. I think he hurts Yahya early, and that obviously is going to, affect his grappling and his wrestling. So yeah, he's the biggest favorite on the card for a reason. Montel Jackson.
And the odds are again kind of crazy to me. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I agree with you, man. Montel Jackson, much younger at 30 years old. Rani Yahya is 38 at this point. I did not realize he was that old until I was watching the film on this fight. The fact that
13-4 in the
he's
UFC.
also like physically much smaller when you look at them in the ring. So obviously Montel Jackson the striking advantage, Rani Yahya the clear wrestling and grappling advantage. Montel Jackson showed me really good takedown defense his last couple times out. I just don't see Rani Yahya having such an easy time of taking him down. Obviously, that's what he wants to do. Mm-hmm. Montel Jackson he fought ya boy JP Blaydes, who is allegedly another wrestler. He had JP Blaydes didn't do terrible against him, but yeah, Montel Jackson ended up messing him out. He also has decent wrestling himself. He was an Olympic hopeful at some point. I think that was his original goal as, in the fighting realm.
Yeah.
Was to be an Olympic wrestler.
Sure.
And then he ended up pivoting to MMA after getting into with certain coaches and they recommended it. So he's got really good reach. I think that's going to make a big difference too, especially because I do think that he's going to win the striking, and I think his wrestling is good enough to beat Rani. So I agree with you. I'm going to take Montel Jackson. What did you say by decision?
I said KO TKO.
KO. Mm-hmm. Man, I don't know. I feel like. No, I could definitely see that.
I've been really impressed with Montel Jackson as of late.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'll go TKO. I don't think he's going to one-punch KO him, but I could see a TKO.
Sure. You mentioned the JP Blaydes fight. He looked pretty damn good against Julio Arce his last time out, and we've got the wagon pulled up here. It's fantastic.
Why are you calling me out, bro?
I'm just saying. But yeah, he's really impressed me a lot.
Yeah,
and I think this dude's for real, man. I think he can cause some problems in this division. I think he, at some point, can be ranked.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I don't think he's ever gonna do anything crazy in the division, but
yes,
yeah, he could do some things. Moving on to the next fight on the card, it's Christos Giagos versus Ricky Glenn. Mm-hmm. Did you take the last one first?
Dude, brother, I have no idea.
Yeah, okay. I guess I'll do this one first. Ricky Glenn, I don't think he's anything crazy special, but he's always weirdly competitive. And every fight, he holds his own. You know, he's got a handful of split decisions and a draw on his record. So no matter who he's fighting, he seems to like just be in the fight. You know, he fights southpaw, so he's got a really nice left straight hand, as many southpaws do. He knocked out Joaquin Silva 2 fights ago, which I thought was pretty impressive. Before that, he was out for almost 3 years. So Ricky Glenn is a guy that I wish was a little bit more active, that we would have seen a little bit more. He's on the wrong side of 30, obviously, at this point. You know, I do think that the difference here is going to be the wrestling. Also, Christos Giagos, when you look at his record, he's fought a lot of really good guys.
Much better comp. Absolutely.
That's the first thing I have written here has definitely fought the tougher comp of the two. Mm-hmm. He's got losses to Charles do Bronx, obviously former champ. He's got losses to Thiago Moises, Armin Sarukian, Drucker Close.
Beat Sean Soriano.
But what does that mean? Like he did not look good. You know, I don't know. Giagos isn't knocking anybody out. The last time he did was in 2016 versus Arman. I mean, I guess he kind of held his own until he got absolutely messed up. You know, he was kind of beating him in the striking, right? Like we that was kind of the first time that we saw Arman Sarukian tested on the feet, I guess. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, man. I think overall he seems a little too jittery for me and a little like springy. Versus Thiago Moises is a decent fighter. Yeah. But he's not like a top 10 guy.
He's very like, it's weird with him. You never know. He's another one of those guys where you never know which Thiago Moises you're going to get.
Exactly.
Because at his best, I think he can be in that top 10 area.
Yeah.
But sometimes
but that's the ceiling.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, sure. Exactly.
Yeah. And I think pretty clearly that's the ceiling. I don't know. I just don't like how Giagos moves. Initially, I did want to pick him. Mm-hmm. I just don't like how he moves, man. I think he's not bad, but he's like a little too jittery for me. I think Ricky Glenn is the more composed fighter, and I think Giagos doesn't have the best chin. Glenn has decent power. I'm gonna go with Glenn. Maybe by TKO, but I'm leaning decision, maybe 29-28 decision for Glenn.
Sure. When it comes to Christos Giagos, he's 5-6 in the UFC. And that's decent. It's around 500, right?
Right.
But the thing is, there is this image in my head when it comes to Christos Giagos, and it's him getting his ass kicked. Yeah. And maybe it is because it's been Charles Oliveira and Armin Sarukian.
He's fought tough comp.
And Thiago Moises and Drakkar Klose and whatever. But that's just kind of what I'm stuck with. He is a grappler. The striking is nothing pretty to look at all.
Yeah.
In my opinion, nothing too technical. As far as Ricky Glenn is concerned, last time out, I do have to mention the Grant Dawson fight. He was losing that fight. He was down 2-0, ended up pushing a draw.
And he took it on shorter notice.
Yeah, and he ended up pushing a draw after losing the first 2 rounds because he absolutely
looked dead at the end. That was the one where he like didn't get up really at the end, right?
I believe so.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, he was getting his ass whooped and then 10-8'd Grant Dawson. Crazy fight. He's a volume striker. He throws a lot. He throws often. He's always walking forward. He's an okay grappler, which obviously he's going to need every bit of his grappling to defend against the takedowns of Giagos. Anyways, this is another very typical striker versus grappler fight on this card. Both guys are tough as hell. I'm going Ricky Glenn by decision due to the fact that he's a little bit better on the feet. Let's say that the gap on the feet is more bigger than the gap on the
grappling.
Ground. Yep. So I'll trust Ricky Glenn here.
I agree with you. Mm-hmm. Next fight on the card, it's Jeremiah Wells versus Matt Semelsberger.
Semi the
Jedi. Man, this is one of the more exciting fights on the card for me.
Yeah.
What do you think about this one?
I want to do something a little unique here, Dino.
Okay.
Throw you a little curveball.
Okay.
We're going to do a prelim version of What Do They Drink? Because I'm interested in this one.
What do you mean?
What do they drink in the prelims? We usually do it for the main card.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that we usually do it for the main card.
Let's get it, baby. So, Jeremiah Wells, Semi the Jedi, what do they drink?
I got to look at them.
Yep.
Jeremiah Wells, I feel like he drinks like...
That's a terrible picture of Jeremiah that you got pulled up there.
He's so young.
Mm-hmm. His drinking habits would have definitely changed from
I feel like
time.
He drinks like Ciroc.
Okay. Plain Ciroc, flavored Ciroc.
Coconut Ciroc.
Coconut Ciroc.
Coconut Ciroc. Yeah! That's where I was going with that.
Hey.
Coconut Ciroc. Cocoloso. Pretty boy swag. I don't coke my nose, though.
Hey. So you think, what does he drink it with? On the rocks? Is he soda? What's up? Any juices?
Coconut, Ciroc,
Pineapple juice? Because that's like the combo that I remember
and pineapple juice
from our early days.
Oh, man, I love that.
We had a ton of those.
To this day.
Shout out Coconut Ciroc.
Oh, my God. I love Ciroc. To this day, it's my favorite vodka.
There we go.
Absolutely.
Everyone's on the Tito's trend lately.
I know, it is. I just... taste-wise, I much prefer Ciroc.
Agreed.
And I feel like Ciroc has died down in, like, popularity, like,
Agreed.
in the clubs and shit. Fuck that. People are tripping.
Semi
the Jedi. Man, he drinks beer, dude.
Just beer.
Just like a 40. Not a 40.
Ooh, 40.
Not a 40. He probably drinks like a Miller High Life.
Miller High Life.
Yeah.
The champagne of beers, right? Is that what it... No. Oh, Miller High Life's the disgusting one. What's the champagne of beers?
No, isn't it that?
Is it that?
I thought it was.
Yeah. MGD is the disgusting one. Sorry, guys.
They don't make MGD anymore.
I know. Thank God, because it was terrible. It was absolutely awful. I digress. Let's move on to the fight.
No, it is Miller High Life.
Miller High Life is the champagne of beers.
Yes.
Yes, that's fine. It's very light. It's crisp.
Do you want to go to a Cubs game soon?
Sure.
Yeah.
I like the Cubs.
Let's do it.
Huge Cubs fan.
All right.
All right, let's move on to the fight.
Shout out Patrick Wisdom.
Shout out Patty Wizbot, baby. He is going nuts, huh?
My
Nico
goodness.
Horner's balling out.
Yeah, I should have grabbed Patrick Wisdom in our fantasy league, but I just didn't think that was a thing, like long term.
It'd be like that.
Yeah.
Marcus Stroman also dealing.
Oh, yeah.
Anywho.
He dipped his balls in my fucking forehead when we were playing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Wells, 3-0 in the UFC, beat Warley Alves. He beat Mike Mathetha, Blood Diamond.
Yeah.
And he beat Court McGee, all by finish. Very well-rounded, decent striking.
Court McGee, old as hell.
Yes, but I love Court McGee. Good power for Jeremiah Wells. He showed his sub-skills against Blood Diamond. He's known as a wild striker with power, but he is a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and he showed that off against Blood Diamond. Very impressive on the ground. He throws wild and hopes it lands. He's kind of one of those guys. Semi the Jedi, really, really stupid power. He beat Jake Matthews last time out, which I did not expect at all.
Yeah, me neither. I lost money on that too because Jake Matthews looked like he was back.
Yes,
his last fight before that.
Exactly. Yeah. And that sticks out to me. And I actually remember you texting me about that. We both lost big on that.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, exactly.
There we go. That was on the Yuri card, wasn't it?
It was.
That was on this.
Yeah, it was.
Yes. Anyways, he is aggressive as hell. He's always walking forward. Stupid power. He can knock anyone in the division out. The thing with
Who do you have winning on this one?
Yes. The thing with this fight is Jeremiah Wells, I think, is the slightly better fighter in terms of skill set. A slight edge to Semi the Jedi and maybe the wrestling. But Semi has the power to turn any fight around. But the thing is, he's dumb. I think he's a dumb fighter. He makes bad decisions.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a dumb person. He just makes shitty decisions sometimes in the fight. I was leaning Wells, but the age is scaring me a bit. 6 years difference, 36 versus 30.
I wish Jeremiah Wells was younger.
I agree. So, for that reason, I'm riding with Semi the Jedi.
Wow. What the fuck?
For no other reason than he's kind of a my boy. It's a little bit of a my boy.
I'm a huge fan of Semi the Jedi. I really am. I'm a big, big fan.
I don't see this fight going 3 rounds, though.
There's no fucking way.
It ends, right? This is a finish one way or the other.
100%.
And even if Jeremiah Wells pulls it off.
Yes, we've seen Semi the Jedi tested on his chin too. I just think he's the more powerful fighter. And going into watching the film, I did not think that was the case. Okay. I didn't think I would leave watching the film thinking that Jeremiah Wells is the weaker fighter. I do think that Semelsberger has more power. I think he's a little bit more technical at least. I think it'll be one of those where Jeremiah Wells might be winding something up, throwing a winding hook, and Semi the Jedi throw something down the middle. I think they both have obviously very serious KO power.
Yeah.
Man, wrestling wise, Wells has decent wrestling. It's a shame. Like I said, he's 36 already. I do expect Semi the Jedi to make bigger improvements moving forward. Plus, he's a former D1 athlete playing football. I don't know, man. Someone's getting knocked out. That's literally what I've written here. Somebody's getting knocked out. The odds are kind of crazy. I think they should be about even, but I'm going to go Semi the Jedi by knockout.
What kind of freaks me out about this is the Semi the Jedi versus Chaos Williams fight. Because
But Chaos Williams is so good, though.
Right, but I was so certain going into that fight that this is ending in a knockout one way or another, and it went to decision.
Well, that's one of the biggest things in a minute. I feel like you can see that all the time, though.
Yep.
But what are you going to do?
I don't know. What are you going to do?
nothing me. I'm going to move on to the next fight on the card.
Let's
It's
get it.
Iasmin Lucindo versus Brogan Walker. Iasmin Lucindo who I was thinking about earlier.
Correct.
She's the youngest woman on the roster. Mm-hmm. She lost her debut to Yasmin Jauregui. And,
Such a good fight.
Dude, what a good women's fight. And especially, like, two debuting UFC fighters, women. My goodness, man. First of all, more than anything, what I got from that is Yasmin Jauregui is a legit prospect. And I know that's not who we're talking about right now, but my goodness, that lady looked really good. That fight was low-key a banger. That's literally what I have verbatim written down here.
Who's that? Verbatim? I don't know. Some idiot kid said that to me once. I said verbatim, and he's like, "Who the fuck are you talking about? Who's verbatim?" I was like, "Jeez, dude."
Man, who you hanging out with?
I wasn't hanging out with him. It was on a PlayStation lobby.
Oh God. Okay, that's terrible. That's all right. Well, thank God that's the worst that he said at that point. Yeah, man, I really like both of these girls. You know, Lucindo, I just want to like give her a kiss on the cheek.
Okay.
Like she's just so cute, and I just want to like, boa noite, and all
boa
this.
noite.
Yeah.
Bom dia, bom dia.
Bon dia.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Fala galera. Stuff like that.
Like, hit her with one of those.
Okay.
You know, man, she's so young, and to look that legit, especially on the feet. That fight was crazy, dude.
It was great. They stole the show.
They were absolutely throwing bombs, and to be that young in the women's division and not that Jauregui is like old, you know, but just to be throwing bombs like that, like, man, that was so impressive. I think really, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. You know, first of all, the fact that Lucinda went pro at 14 is so impressive.
Wild.
Like, my God. She's mostly going to box. She's going to mix in some kicks. She could tighten up the technique a little bit because she just kind of like, like just goes to town at times. Mm-hmm. But listen, the biggest thing here, Brogan Walker, you know who she lost to? Juliana fucking Miller. Juliana Miller looked like the worst fighter. And agree or disagree, Dino Bam Bam.
Yes.
Juliana Miller looked like the single worst fighter that we have had the pleasure of watching since we started this podcast.
Yes, and it really bothers me to this day because that was the fight against Mrs. Hardy, correct?
No, I know. And
against
Dan Hardy's
wife.
Yes. Veronica Hardy.
Yeah, and shout out Veronica Hardy.
And I hate myself for that. Not that she looked that good, but dude, what hat? Like, I don't know.
I don't trust Juliana Miller, man. Do your thing. I have 10th planet jiu-jitsu.
Listen, I know the MMA math don't be mathing oftentimes, okay? Yeah. But that is one that's like, you know when you multiply by 0, you get 0 every time no matter what? That's like the equivalent of the MMA math of this for me.
Yeah.
Is like you multiply by Juliana Miller, you get 0. Like if you have lost to her, you're not good.
Agreed.
And that's it. So.
And for me, Dino, it sticks with the theme that we've been talking about on this card, and these Ultimate Fighter people from the last 2 seasons are not good, and Brogan Walker lost to Juliana Miller. So
that's all I'm saying.
It is what it is, man. Lucindo stole the show on that San Diego card, and that was the Cheeto versus Dominic Cruz card, I believe. Yep. She stole the show, man. She looked great. I'm trusting Lucindo here by late finish. I don't think Brogan Walker has faced better competition.
Yeah,
but I don't think it really matters, man.
Yeah, I really don't. I agree with you. What are we at time-wise right now?
We're like 45 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, 48.
Let me just flex on y'all real quick.
Ooh.
Anyway, I don't know who did the last one, but I did the math.
Yeah.
And you need to be the second one going on the main event.
Yeah.
So I'll go first on this one, I guess.
Run it, baby.
So it's the third to last fight. It's Bobby Green versus Jared Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be brief on this one. I think it's pretty straightforward. Bobby Green still's got the juice.
Okay.
I think that Jared Gordon is a decent fighter. There's nothing that he does particularly well. There's nothing that he Listen, I know that we all... Do you feel like he beat Patty?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like he
absolutely.
definitely beat Patty.
Absolutely.
But the fact that it was even close, to me, tells me what I need to know. Patty is not good. And Jared Gordon is not that good either. He's better than Patty, but he's not that good. And Bobby Green, if you look at the people that Jared Gordon's fought, Bobby Green would piece up all these people.
Yes.
All right. Bobby Green is such an interesting fighting style. He's so different, right? He fights with his hands at his waist, right?
Yeah.
Like that's where he throws his punches from
all the time.
All the time. He's crazy. He's fast though. The fact that he keeps his hands low allows him to fight as unconventionally as he does.
Mm-hmm.
It allows him to throw with speed from where he does, right? Because he's throwing from the hip. So I think that Gordon is not the kind of guy that's going to be able to figure that out. He's not special anywhere. It's not like he's a great wrestler. Bobby Green is a good wrestling base.
Yeah.
You know, I know he's 36 years old. You know, I just don't think that Gordon is anything that special. You know, for me, it's pretty straightforward. I know he beat Leonardo Santos, but he was like 40 years old, dude. Like, what does that really mean? Bobby Green is too precise, and he's going to catch him with some crazy like punches that Gordon's not ready for. And I just think he's going to wear him down. I think it's going to be a vintage Bobby Green performance. I'm going to go 30-27 Bobby Green.
Absolutely. I'll say this. I think Bobby Green is one of the most exciting fighters in the UFC, a true OG of the MMA game, a true OG of the UFC. I absolutely love the way he scraps. He's going to walk forward, as you mentioned. The hands are going to be down, and he's just going to scrap. He's here to fight.
Right.
I saw his media day thing that he did.
Not counting his Islam fight.
That's just different. I saw his media day thing today, and he was mentioning, like, when I leave this game, a lot of you other fighters are doing it for the belt. You're doing it for, like, blah, blah, blah. I'm doing it, A, for money, but B, because I want to put a dope-ass catalog out there. I want Bobby Green to be one of those guys where, like, you go back and you're like, you go watch all his fights, and that shit's super fun. And that is
he's already done that.
That's what he gives
I would argue.
I agree. That's what he's done. Jared Gordon.
There's a reason he's a fan favorite.
Agreed.
At 29-14, not the best record.
And he's looking to change his name to King. Did you see that?
Bobby King?
Well, his nickname is Bobby. It's Bobby King Green.
Right.
He's looking to legally change his name, like Cher, like Madonna, and just be King. Which is, hey, more power to you, brother. But anyways, Jared Gordon. He is very solid, man. Let's start with the Patty the Batty thing. He won a total... Like, he won that fight, and he gained the respect of the entire MMA community.
Absolutely.
Let's say that. I'm going to do some MMA math here. Bobby Green is fighting guys like Drew Dober, guys like Islam Makhachev, guys like Rafael Fiziev. Gordon is fighting guys like Patty, Grant Dawson, Joe Selecki.
It's such a different level.
You weigh them, right? And they're not the same.
No, certainly
Gordon
not.
is also the smaller guy here, Dino. He's a 145er fighting up at 155. I think Bobby Green is a level above him everywhere. I think Green kind of just picks him apart for 3 rounds, and exactly like you said, got a unanimous decision, 30-27 to Bobby Green. There's a chance he gets a finish, but Gordon is a very tough fighter.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Moving on to the co-main event of the card, It's my boy, Brad Tavares versus Bruno Silva. I'm really looking forward to this one. Sadly, again, Ricky Simone versus Song Yadong is not on this card. Mm-hmm. We'll cover that next week. But what do you think about this one?
All right, Brad Tavares, last time out, lost the decision to another your boy, Dricus Du Plessis.
That's definitely not. That's your boy. I don't like him. I hate Dricus.
Me too. What's the my boy? We need to figure that out.
I don't know why. I hate that you put that on me. I'm not a Dricus guy at all.
So there's like my boys, and there's like, who's that?
I don't know.
What do we call that?
Your boys. I don't know, but
we're gonna have to figure this out.
I'm definitely not. Think
because Dricus is that guy.
Because I do not like Dricus.
Me either.
And I didn't like him from the first time I saw him fight. And I know he keeps winning. I respect him as a fighter.
Yeah.
But man, I'm not a fan.
Can Dricus be the first consensus on this show, or are we doing that?
Their boy. It's a boy.
It's a y'all boy.
It's a y'all's boy.
Y'all's boy. Dricus
yeah.
Anyways, Brad Tavares, 14-7 in the UFC. He's been around forever.
You said, can it be the first?
Just like, ugh,
I feel that 100%.
Anyways, Brad Tavares has been around forever. The inactivity worries me a little bit here. He's a scrappy, old vet, old dog, Hawaiian-style boxer.
Bro.
You know what you're...
How old is he?
Tavares, 35. But he's been here
Oh,
forever.
thank God. Okay, I thought he was like my age.
No.
The way you were talking about him, I'm like, God damn.
No, he's not like 50.
He's like old dog, old bitch, piece of shit. Like,
no, I meant it in a positive way. Like he's an old vet.
He's just old.
Anyways, he's an old vet. He's got all the tricks. He's been around forever. He's hard to get out of there. Not much to say. We've seen Brad Tavares versus some of the best in the middleweight division. We know who he is at this point.
I'm the best, man.
Hey,
Shout out
Eli. Shout out Eli. If y'all know, y'all know.
Literally.
We move on to Bruno Silva.
I got the cat on the grill.
See? 22-8 for Bruno and Silva. Bruno Silva. Two different people.
Bruno and Silva. Hey. Is that like Casey and JoJo?
I'm down. Shout out Casey and JoJo.
Oh my God.
All my life is a...
And crazy?
Crazy, yeah.
Oh my God.
Crazy's crazy.
Ooh.
Anyways, Bruno Silva, 2-fight losing streak. Very good striker. Showed that against former champion Poatan, Alex Pereira. The GM3 fight, however, scares the absolute shit out of me.
Yeah, that's what I've written down too.
Right, because how in the world are you getting dropped by Gerald Meerschaert?
Man.
Anyways, maybe he was overlooking Gerald Meerschaert's striking. Maybe he kind of slipped up and just got caught. You kind of have to assume that if you're leaning towards Bruno Silva in this fight.
Oh, you're definitely like buying into that, yeah.
He needs a big bounce back win here. He is also the better grappler in this fight. Anyways, I don't know what to do here. I'm confused because of that GM3 fight, to be honest with you.
I agree with that.
If the version of Bruno Silva that fought Poatan shows up, he easily wins this fight.
But does he though? Because Brett Tavares has such good takedown defense. I don't see Bruno Silva taking him down.
Sure, but the level of striking to sit there and kind of just survive the
But
onslaught.
Bruno Silva is still... Listen, I think Bruno Silva is going to be the guy to put on the pressure. Mm-hmm. I also think that he's the guy that's not going to throw the crisper, more technical, down-the-middle strikes. So that's really it for me. I think Brett Tavares is going to be the one to throw the down-the-middle strike. Could he get caught? Absolutely. You know?
And here's the thing with that, Dino. Unfortunately for Brett Tavares, he's not very dangerous. He doesn't have much finishing ability.
He doesn't,
right?
And that's like the one thing that he's always been missing.
Yeah,
and it upsets me because I really like Brett Tavares.
I
really like Brett Tavares, and that I think I just realized that.
Yeah.
Once you said it, is like that's exactly it. He is just not a finisher, man.
Yeah.
He's like Vittori light.
Diet Vittori.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like and barely die. Like I feel like him and Vittori would have a boring ass fight together, and I'd watch the shit out of it. Like. It's just like, I don't know. Like,
we saw him fight Omari Akhmedov. We were there at UFC 264.
Yeah.
Fight wasn't all that. Yeah, he's just not too dangerous, man. And that's kind of the reason I'm going with Bruno
Like,
Silva
he'll go
here.
5 rounds versus Izzy, but then he's going to put on a boring-ass fight versus Omari Akhmedov.
Yeah. So. I don't see Tavares being finished. I think Bruno Silva is the more dangerous of the two. I think
finishing
he's the more
ability-wise, for sure.
Yeah.
But by the way, Bruno Silva, 0 submission finishes in his career.
Yeah, so this fight ain't going to a finish. I'm going 29-28. I'm going 29-28 Bruno Silva.
Okay, I'm going 29-28. Actually, I'm sorry. I'm going to go 30-27 Tavares.
Okay, interesting.
The GM3 fight gives me a lot of pause.
And that's fair. That is fair.
Because watching him versus Poatan, but then it's Poatan, like, at that point, even less experienced. Yeah. So I get why he was able to take him down. But I don't know, man. It's like you said, it's so hard. I watched him walk this dude down and then watch him get fucked up by GM3. It's tough.
Who we just saw get killed by Joe Pyfer. So,
right.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go 30-27 Brett Tavares. First of all, I don't think there's a way that he's losing this. Money line wise, I'm going Tavares all day. I don't think it's close.
Okay.
So
do you have the odds on that? I'm gonna check them out real quick.
Let me know. I think
minus 155 for Brett Tavares.
I think they went up a little, but I think it was a pick'em. Okay. In any case, moving on to the main event of the card. It is Sergei Pavlovich versus a certified boy.
Absolutely.
Curtis Razor Blaydes. I'm going to go first because that's how we've been doing it. That's the whole time I've been paying attention to this, making sure that you get the last say on this one.
I appreciate that.
No problem, my brother. I love you. I will say crazy power for Sergei Pavlovich. Really good. We've watched him in his last 3 fights since he came back from injury. He's basically done the same thing to some of our favorite fighters. Derek Lewis, Tai Tuivasa. We've seen him do it.
What a jerk.
The same thing, man. He just puts the pressure on, pops these dudes in the face. It's rare. Like, Dawkins had power, right? Like, you or not power. I'm sorry. Dawkins had technique boxing-wise, but Dawkins didn't have the power. Sergei has the power and the technique as far as the boxing goes. He's working on his wrestling. This has been such a hard one for me because we know that Curtis Blaydes on paper has the better wrestling technique. We have seen Curtis Blaydes at times with guys that we know are big power punchers kind of fade away and be a little bit more like hesitant. Even in the Derek Lewis fight, versus Blaydes, like Derek Lewis had him figured out the whole time pretty much. So
Derek Lewis was waiting for
the big
shot,
man.
Yeah.
And Curtis finally fucking did it. And Pavlovich has a lot of power. I don't think he has Derek Lewis power, but I just think that he's gonna be strong enough to hold Curtis Blaydes off as far as the takedowns.
Yeah.
I think if Curtis Blaydes gets him against the cage, it's not going to be great for Curtis Blaydes. I think the hammer fists of Sergei Pavlovich are really powerful, and it's not your regular dude just throwing casual hammer fists to bother you against the side. I think those are going to hurt him. I'm going to go Pavlovich. I'll go first round knockout.
Yeah.
And I understand how risky that is. I will not bet first round knockout. Just saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as risk is concerned, I don't think it's that risky because that's what we've seen out of Pavlovich. I don't think this.
I know, but it feels like recency. It feels like I'm buying into recency bias.
Maybe, but I'll tell you this: I'm damn sure this fight doesn't go past the third. Like if it gets to the third.
First of all,
yeah.
Just for those of you who haven't followed us, this man is 7 for 7 in the last main events, and that's why I have made sure to let him go last because 7 for 7. That's the hottest guy on YouTube right now.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I've done some research.
Don't be so goddamn.
I'm saying
modest.
I've done some research. I don't think anyone's hit 7. But anyways, the road to 8 begins here.
Yeah,
it begins here.
This is your hardest one yet.
This is definitely the hardest one. I mentioned it last week. Let's start with Pavlovich, right? 17-1 in his career. His only loss is to Overeem, who's an absolute legend. That was because of grappling.
Which is weird, because Overeem's not the best grappler.
Exactly.
But that was a couple years ago.
Yeah. You move on to Curtis Blaydes. His only losses in MMA have come to power punchers.
Yeah.
Derek Lewis, twice to Francis Ngannou. So it's kind of like, we know this is Curtis Blaydes' kryptonite.
Right.
Is this Pavlovich's kryptonite? We don't know.
Right. But we haven't really seen him tested in that realm. Yeah.
Exactly. We see a trend where Blaydes is losing to these guys. I don't know if you can say there's a trend when it comes to Pavlovich because he only lost once and it was years ago. Anyways, Pavlovich has been coming forward. He's been swinging wild. He's been knocking everyone out in the first round. Blaydes has been winning in all different ways when he has been winning lately. It's been a decision, a KO, and then, of course, a injury.
It's unfortunate that we didn't get to see
Tom Aspinall.
Yeah.
That is an absolute your boy.
I thought that was your boy.
I don't know.
Between us, I really thought I would have thought that was definitely more your boy.
Not really, but anywho, here's kind of where my concern is when it comes to was with Curtis Blaydes. The last 2 fights, and that's the Aspinall fight and the
if you're counting Aspinall,
right, all 15
and
seconds of it,
Dawkins,
right,
and then Lewis before that.
We've seen him kind of fall in love with his hands in those last 2 fights, or 15 seconds plus 1.
He was
fight.
so happy to get the knockout versus Dawkins.
He was looking for it, and it looked like that's
he didn't want to grapple at all.
Right, and it looked like that's what he wanted to do with Tom Aspinall. Then the injury happened. So I hope he's not falling in love with his hands. That's been my biggest worry, right? But we do know that Curtis Blaydes can go 5 rounds. We do know that he does have the cardio for that. We don't know if Pavlovich has that. And I'm super, super excited that Curtis Blaydes this week in the media has been alluding to the fact that he's going to use his wrestling, that he knows he has to use his wrestling, especially in a small cage at the apex.
I think if he's going to win this, he needs to right away.
Absolutely.
He can't wait till the second round.
Absolutely.
He'll get finished in the first.
Agreed. So with that being said, you know I'm sticking with Curtis Razor Blaydes here. I think he's going to stay as safe as possible early. And if and when shit does hit the fan, because it will hit the fan quickly, he's going to need that takedown. I think he's going to get the takedown. And I think if we get into the second or potentially the third, Pavlovich is going to be tired. He's going to be beat up.
That's the other thing. We haven't really seen his cardio tested.
Exactly.
And we've seen Curtis do decent cardio-wise.
That's what I'm saying.
For the weight class.
He's looked good. So I think Curtis Blaydes, Dino, is going to get a finish. I'm going to say early second round after a
Ground and
takedown.
pound, yeah.
It's a ground and pound. I think Curtis Blaydes has deserved a title shot for a long time.
Man.
I think he
And
probably...
I do agree, just want to say, I do agree that with the fact what he said. I think he probably is John Jones' toughest challenge in the weight class.
And I don't think he even gets John Jones. I think we're going to see John Jones and Stipe. Or
if he wins?
Yeah, I think John Jones is going to let go of the belt before Curtis Blaydes fights for it. So I think we'll see.
Oh, you think John Jones is not long for the division?
I think John Jones is fighting Stipe and bouncing.
From fighting?
Yeah, just bouncing.
Period.
And then I think we're going to see
Get out of
Curtis
here.
Blaydes versus whoever the hell is next.
You heard it here first, by the way.
So, yeah, I think he finally gets his chance to get his title shot after he demolishes Sergei Pavlovich on the ground. Curtis Blaydes, round 2, maybe early round 3, TKO to ground and pound. We're going to see a vintage Curtis Blaydes. We're hitting 8 in a row.
I hope so, my friend.
We're at 7.
Now you got me doubting my pick even more.
And next week, you mentioned it a couple times, Song Yadong, Ricky Simone.
Yeah.
That's going to be 9. That one's easy.
Well, that one's easy.
That one's really easy.
Who are you picking?
We're going to talk about it next week.
Oh,
the good folks here are going to see it.
Tune in.
Right. Tune in, guys. Please like and subscribe. Ring the little bell. You'll know when that video comes out because you're going to get notified on your phone. We're hitting 8 in a row here. Chicago's own Curtis Razor Blaydes. Anything else to say, Dino?
No, man.
That's it?
I'm good. You take us out.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Dino Bam Bam, DS, a.k.a. What'd you tell him?
MMA young boy.
MMA young boy. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Peace.
Peace.